So you should have your religion books open. Go ahead and put your date at the top. If you have a lot of room at the end of your vocabulary from Friday, then you can do it at the bottom. If not, go to a new clean page. And what I want you to do now is you have 3 minutes to draw what you think of when you think of an angel. You have 3 minutes to draw what you think of when you think of an angel. What do you think an angel looks like? You have 2 minutes, 40 seconds to draw what you think of when you think of an angel.
Can you use the paper?
While you were drawing your angels, I was drawing what I think of when I think of an angel. Yours probably look a lot similar. Sorry, that's too much. Now I can't see you at all. So up a little bit. I think of an angel as a person who has wings and a halo. Sometimes they might be holding a harp or some candles or something like that. But we know that God created, you can put your hands down. God did create the angels in his image. Since they were created in his image, they are persons. Remember, a person is not, when we're talking about persons that God created, we're not really talking about people like us with bodies and minds and wills. Because we learned, do the angels have a mind? Victoria?
Yes.
Yes, they can think. Do they have a will? Zadie?
Yes.
Yes, they can choose what they want to do. Do angels have bodies? Cullen?
No.
No. So they are persons in that they have minds and wills like us. But they are not people because they don't have a body. So they have their minds so that they can think, and their wills so that they can choose what to do with what they've thought. But they don't have bodies. God created the angels so that they would know him and so that they would love him. Please make sure you're paying attention. Your pencils should be down. They are pure spirits. So they are more like God than people are. Because are we pure spirits? What's the definition of pure spirits? What is the definition of pure spirits? Michaela. Persons with minds and wills to choose, but no bodies. We have bodies. So are we pure spirits?
No.
So even though we have minds and wills, we have bodies, so we are not pure spirits. So since they are pure spirits, they are more like God than we are. They are more like God. That word pure means they don't have sin, or they don't have much sin.
But they're not actually like God, right?
No, they are not gods. They are just more like God than we are.
Okay.
But they are not actually God. So they are wiser and they are more powerful than human people are. Because they are like God, and God is wise, and God is powerful. They are more like God, so they are more wise and more powerful than we are. They know more about God than we do here on earth. Why do you think they know more about God? Victoria.
Because they live with God.
They live with God. They are in heaven. Once we're in heaven, are we going to know more about God too? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we will. So ever since they were created, God shared his life, which is his grace. Remember, that's the ability to have a friendship and a relationship with God, with the angels. So, thinking about what we know about angels. They are pure spirits. They have minds, and they have the will to choose, but they don't have bodies. Do our pictures necessarily actually match what an angel is? No, because we all drew our angels with bodies. And that's nice to picture. And if we're going to draw a picture of an angel, okay, we might have to draw a body. But But angels aren't actually bodies. We can't see them, ever. No matter what, we cannot see them. Because they don't have a body. They're just a mind and a will that exists because God created it to exist. But in art, and when we draw, and when we think of angels, we do think of them with bodies because we can't actually see them. So we don't actually know what they look like. Because we can't see them. They don't have bodies for us to look at. Yes, Victoria, quickly.
I didn't draw mine as a body.
What?
I didn't draw mine as a body.
How did you draw yours?
I drew mine like with my pencil. I drew like a little light and wings on it.
Okay. Good, because you remembered that angels don't have bodies. Good, Victoria. Yes, Kingston, quickly.
But then what if we just drew nothing?
What?
What if we drew nothing but we can't see anything?
Well, you drew something because I can see your drawing.
But what if we drew nothing?
Well, that's kind of what Victoria drew. Victoria drew what she thought of, which was like light, with maybe wings and a halo.
No, like just nothing. Nothing.
Well, then you just, because when you think of angels, you think of something. So if you didn't draw anything, then you didn't follow directions. But you did. I see it right there. Zari, quickly, because you didn't have time. Zari, quickly.
I've seen some pictures of them. Some of them have their hands together.
Yes, so that's another thing you might have drawn, with their hands together. Why do you think they drew their hands together? What are these called? They're called this, and then also this, and this. Ethan.
That's how I drew mine.
Prayer hands. Good. Yeah, sometimes we see them with prayer hands or their arms outstretched, like I did, because they're spreading blessing. Okay. So, if we think of creation, creation is everything that God created. The most basic part of creation, according to the Bible and Bible scholars, are rocks. Now, we may be able to say, but hey, there's more basic because of science. There's cells, and they're made of whatever. Well, yes, but according to the Bible and according to religious scholars, the most basic, part of creation is rocks. Because do rocks do anything other than just sit there? No. Other things can make rocks do something, but rocks themselves don't do anything. They just let the environment react to them and change them, but they don't do anything. The next most basic part, according to the Bible and religious scholars, are plants. The plants come next. So at the bottom, most basic is rocks. You can draw this. Make sure that you have space because we're going to draw up. Or you can write this diagram. Then, the second most basic is plants. After that is animals the way we think of them. Not humans, because technically, scientifically, humans are animals. But animals the way we actually think of animals, like dogs and cats and cows and birds and hamsters and salamanders, whatever. Any animal you can think of, other than humans, falls in this. It's because these three parts of creation are physical. We can touch them. They exist. We can see them. We can touch them. We can hear them. We can feel them. But they are not created in the image of God. Do rocks have minds? Do they think? No. Do they have wills? Are they able to choose? No. Plants, do they think? No. Are they able to choose what to do? No. Animals do think and they do choose, but not the way we do. Not the way we do. Because their minds work differently. So these things are parts of creation, but they are not made in the image of God. They do not have minds and they do not have wills the way we do. Yes?
I think monkeys and chimpanzees are like the smartest animals.
They might be, but I've also heard that pigs are the smartest animals, so I don't really know. Okay, it just depends. So, oh, I forgot. You guys have this in your book. Look at the top of page 16. So go ahead and open your book to page 16. I'm sorry, I completely forgot. This is new. This is a new curriculum to me, too. So the other one I was very comfortable with, but this one I'm still learning. I have to learn it like you guys do. I forgot. So we start with rocks. That's the most basic part of creation. And then we have plants, which are a little more than rocks because plants can actually do their own thing. They can create their own food. They are alive. Rocks are not alive. Plants are alive. Animals come next because they can think and make choices, just not in the same way that we do. But none of these three things are made in the image of God. Well, I forgot you have this, so what comes next? What comes next? Aaron.
Human person.
Humans. They are a little bit above animals because they are physical, they exist, but they do have a mind and a will the way that God does. They are physical, they have bodies. They are spiritual. We have souls. We have souls that can go up to heaven. Because that we have souls, souls are what gives us our mind and our will the way that God has it. Our souls are what let us think and choose the same way that God does. So that is what makes us created in God's image. Animals do not have a soul, so they don't think and they don't choose like we do. Now, does that mean they can't go to heaven? I don't really know. None of us will know until we go to heaven. I think the current pope says yes, but I don't remember. We won't know that for sure until we go to heaven. So, what comes after humans? What's next? Kingston. Sorry, girls at home, I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry. What? Can't hear you. Angels. Angels. Because they do have a mind and a will, like we do, but they are pure spirits. So they are closer to God than we are. They are pure spirits. They have more wisdom and are more powerful than we are, which makes them closer to God. Then, what comes next? Smith.
God.
God. God is at the top. This is called a hierarchy, where the thing that is most basic is at the bottom, and then God is at the top, because God is the most powerful, the wisest, the most loving being that exists. So what this is called is a hierarchy. Hierarchies are things, there's lots of hierarchies. They show a list from the most basic to the best, or something like that, a hierarchy. So the higher you go, the better something is. So at the very bottom is the least complicated part of creation, the rock that is not alive. At the very top is God, who is the most powerful, the most divine, the most wise, the most loving. He has a mind and a will. God can think, God can choose. Quickly, Kingston. What? Well, devils are not necessarily at the bottom, because devils were created, they were originally created in God's image, which we will learn about later. So they would be more up here.
So not up top.
Not at the top. God is at the top always. Always, always, always. God is at the top. Because he is the pure spirit and he created everything. So of course he's the most powerful. If he created everything underneath him, then he is the most powerful. Let's see. So the reason God created angels was to go between himself, who is the most powerful, and us, who were created in his image but aren't quite as powerful. So he needed somebody in the middle to kind of help out. So let's see. Go ahead and read on page 16. Put everybody back in. Read Victoria. Now, actually, I'm going to read the purple box because this language is a little tough. So, but after I read the purple box, Victoria, you're going to read the next block of text, okay? If there's purple boxes, it's usually written in like language from a pope, which means it's going to be a little bit harder to read. It won't be as hard to listen to and follow along with, but the words are going to be difficult. You'll probably know most of the words.
Do you need to use my book?
No, I have it. It's just, I can hold it closer. But if I wear my glasses with this, they fog up. What angels are? Angels, spiritual beings endowed with intelligence and will, are servants and messengers of God. And that is a quote from Pope Benedict XVI at the Regina Caeli. I think that's a meeting that he called on April 5th, 2010. And basically all that is saying is that angels are spiritual beings, which means they have a soul, endowed with intelligence and will. That means they were given a mind and a will, and are servants and messengers of God, which we know what that means. The hardest part to understand there is endowed with intelligence and will. But all that means is given a mind to think and a will to choose. Okay, Victoria.
God created the angels in his image. As images of God, angels are persons. They have minds to think and wills to choose. The angels are pure spirits. That is, they were created without bodies. We cannot see them.
Good. So again, angels have what? What is one thing that angels have? Ethan. Minds. So that they can do what?
So they can,
If you have a mind, you're able to... Zari, help him out. If you have a mind, you're able to... Think. Good. Zari, what else do they have? They have a mind to think, and they have a... Will, so that they can do what? Hands down.
And a will to choose.
And a will to choose. What do they not have? Colin.
bodies.
Bodies, which means they can't be what?
People.
If they don't have a body. Michaela? No. What can't we do because they don't have a body? We can't. Carla?
They cannot.
They can't be, or we can't.
We can't be.
No,
they can't
because,
be like,
hold on, listen. They don't have a body, which means we can't
see them.
see them. Very good. So they have a mind to think, they have a will to choose, but they don't have a body to be seen. So our picture of an angel, it's a nice thought, but it's not actually what angels look like. But just like we draw God as a person, but God is also a pure spirit. So does God have a body? No. So can we see God?
No.
No, but we can see him in all of his creation. Okay, thank you, Victoria. This is kind of short, so we're just going to let people do one paragraph at a time. Kingston, please read the next paragraph loud and slow, like you did at the beginning of your reading. Don't get quieter as you go, okay?
God created the angels to know Him and to love Him. As pure spirits, angels are more like God than human beings. They are wiser and more powerful than persons. They know more about God than we do here on earth. Any choice or decision an angel makes is made with full knowledge. Angels do not change their minds.
Those last two sentences are very important to understand. An angel has a mind to think and a will to choose, but when they choose something, they already know every single thing there is to know about whatever that choice is. When we make a choice, do we necessarily know everything there is to know? No. No, we don't. Like if we make a choice to go to a friend's house, do we know 100% what we're going to do when we get there? We don't. We may think we know exactly what we're going to do, but once we get there, if you think you know you're going to go to a friend's house and watch a movie on Netflix, but then you get to their house and their internet's not working, well, did you know that was going to happen? No. So you make a choice, but you don't necessarily know what's going to happen because of that choice. Angels know. They already know everything there is to know before they make the choice. So that means they don't change their mind. We may make a choice, but then things change and we change our mind. But angels already know what's going to happen, what's going to change before they even make that choice. So, do angels change their minds? Class?
No.
No. Why? Why? Why do they not change their minds? Carla?
They get
It's there. It's right there. You can read me exactly what the text says that tells you why they don't change their minds. Zadie, can you help her out?
They don't change their mind because they already know what's going to happen.
Good. They don't change their mind because they have full knowledge of everything behind that choice. Like we make a choice to go to a friend's house, but we don't know what we're going to do there. Angels already know. So they do not change their minds. Okay. Let's look at page... Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, we have to read that little bit. So whoever reads next, read that little bit at the bottom of page 16 and then continue at the top of page 17. Okay? I'm going to stop you. Oh, I got me. So I'm going to stop at a certain point and let somebody else read because this is really long. So I'm going to stop at a certain point and let somebody else read. So make sure you're following along. Because this is just one paragraph, but it's really long, and I want somebody else to have the chance to read. So make sure that you're paying attention, because there's not going to be a good starting point where you can be like, oh, I bet she's here. I'm not sure where she is, but I bet she's here. Because it's going to be the middle of a paragraph. It's not going to be the middle of a sentence, but it will be the middle of a paragraph. So I will start. Make sure you're following along so that you know exactly where to start. That means if I stop to talk, what should still be in the part where we stopped? Your finger. If we stop to chat about something, leave your finger there. Okay. So I'm starting at the bottom of page 16. It's really small. The angels were blessed from their creation with grace. That means as soon as they were created, they had God's grace, the ability to be friends with God and to live in heaven with Him. They were created by God in His image to love and worship Him forever. So the reason they were created was to love and worship God. But they have minds and they have wills, so they could choose whether that's actually what they wanted to do. In the splendor of their glory, the angels surpass all visible creatures. All that means is they are so wonderful and magnificent and beautiful, even though we can't see them, that they are greater than all visible things, which our hierarchy tells us. We can see that they are greater than all of these visible creatures, and then rocks, which are not creatures, but they're visible. With such an advantage, how could some of the angels choose not to love God? So they were created to love and worship God, but did they have to do that?
No.
Why did they not have to do what they were created to do? What do they have that let them choose whether to do what they were created to do or not? Zari?
They had their own choice.
They had their own choice. What do we call that? When we have the ability to choose. A what?
Will.
A will. They had a will. If they have free will, like we do, they can choose to love God or not, just like we do. The only thing that makes them different is that they don't have bodies and they're pure spirit. So they are more wise and more powerful than we are. But their choices, they still get to make choices just like we do. It was possible for them to choose not to love God because the angels have free will. God created the angels free so that they could freely choose to love. God doesn't want to force anyone to love him. What does he want? He doesn't want to force them to love him. What does he want? Smith.
He wants them to use their own wills and love him.
Good. He wants people to choose to love him. It's like if you had a magic potion, like a love potion. If you've ever read or seen Harry Potter, then in Harry Potter, if you make somebody fall in love with you with a love potion, they don't actually love you. It just looks like they love you because they took that love potion. So would you rather have somebody that looks like they love you because you forced them to, or that actually loves you because of who you are and their choice? Aaron.
I would choose to just be loved and not make them love me.
Exactly. God is the same way. God doesn't want to force us. He wants us to choose because it means a lot more when we choose, right? It feels a lot more when we choose. If you're forced to do something, even if it's not that bad, you're just kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this. But if you get to choose it, you feel a lot better. As images of God, they were created to love. If God forced the angels to love him, that wouldn't really be love. It would be force. So it's just like the love spell. You perform a love spell in Harry Potter, they don't actually love you. You just made them look like they love you. Read next. Zari, loud and slow.
Love is also freely
Not also, always.
Love is always freely chosen.
Pause. Real love is a choice. You cannot be forced to love. You cannot be forced to love God. It is a choice. Keep going.
God gave the angels freedom so that their love could be freely chosen.
So just like us, they were given the choice to choose to love God or to choose not to. Keep going.
Some angels, led by
Lucifer.
Lucifer, whose name means light, chose not to love God.
Who do you think these angels are? Kingston? Devils. They were angels. They were given the choice, but they chose not to. Like Lucifer. We know Lucifer is the name of who? Probably seen it like in movies and stuff. Victoria? The devil. Satan. The main devil. Satan. So Lucifer, Satan, used to be an angel. You might have known this already. You might have known this, either from religion classes or there's like TV shows and movies about this. Lucifer used to be an angel. But now he's Satan. He's the king of that place, hell. Well, how did he get there? How did he get there? How did he become Satan? Michaela.
By not loving and choosing God.
Because he chose not to love God. Good. Zari, keep going.
They rejected God and his region.
Hold on. That word, I want everybody to look because it helps us with a phonics thing. if you see EIG or EIGH, it sounds like long A, like in 8 or rain. EIG all together or EIGH both sound like long A, like in rain and 8. So read that sentence again, Zari.
They rejected God and his region.
No. Long A. That EIG sounds like long A. Were you listening to what I just said?
Range.
Not range. There's no G sound because that EIG, that G is part of the word that sounds like long A. So it's just R A N. R A N. If I put it all together, it sounds like what?
Rain.
There you go. That means like rule. Like you know how kings and queens reign over a kingdom? They rule over the kingdom. Keep going.
They rejected God and his reign. Lucifer then became known as Satan, a name which means
Sound it out. It's spelled. Yeah, sound it out.
adversary.
Adversary. Good. Adversary.
Adversary.
Which means enemy.
He and his followers chose to live in hell, where they never
Repent. Repent.
repent of their sins, and they worked to turn all mankind anyway from God.
Not anyway. What is that word?
Where they never
Repent.
repent
That means ask for forgiveness.
of their sins, and where they work to turn all mankind away from God.
Good. So, Lucifer, who is now we know as Satan, and some of these other angels. You can take your masks off now. I mean your shields off. But put your masks back on first. Before you take the shield off, put the mask on, then you can take the shield off. So, Lucifer, whose name means light, because he was an angel, so he was created to love God, and some of these other angels decided they didn't want to do that. They chose not to love God. So then Lucifer became the king of hell, or Satan. He rules over hell. The rest of these angels are now devils. The rest of the angels that chose not to follow God and chose to follow and love Lucifer instead became the devils. So devils are kind of like Satan's angels. But they were all angels at one point. So now they all live in hell, where they never repent of their sins. They never say that they're sorry or ask for forgiveness because they're like, no, I did it. I'm glad I did it. And they work to turn all of us against God. That is their job. God's job is to be guardians and messengers to us. The angel's job, I mean. The devil's jobs are to get us to turn against God. Can these angels change their minds? Or these devils, can they change their minds? Victoria? No. Because what did we learn about angels that Carla told us? What did we learn about angels' choices that Carla told us? Smith?
Angels can't change their minds.
Because they do what? They make their decisions
Full of knowledge.
with full knowledge of what's going to happen. with full knowledge of what's going to happen. So do you think that they care that they're wrong if they chose in the first place to do this? These devils, they don't. They're not sorry. They don't feel bad. They are happy being where they are, doing what they're doing. Very good. So now, what you need to do, and this is a grade, is number 1, 2, and 3 on the bottom of page 17. This is a grade. So those of you at home, you will scan it and send it to me tomorrow morning. This is independent practice. You have 19 minutes to complete it. Write incomplete sentences. Do not forget a capital letter at the end, an end punctuation at the end. Don't forget if you have a conjunction separating independent clauses like and, but, or, what do you need before the word and, but, or, as long as it's separating independent clauses? Aaron, a comma. If it's just separating subjects or predicates, do you need that comma? No. But if it's separating, if you have a subject and a predicate before and after that, and, but, or, you do need a comma. Also, if you start your sentence with because, do not, actually no, we're not going to do that. I don't want you guys to write complex sentences with the dependent clause first because you're not comfortable with it yet. So always put, if you want to say because, say blah, 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 because blah, 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 blah. Do you need a comma when the dependent clause comes second? No. So if you want to use because, do not ever, ever, ever start your sentence with because. Not this year. Never, ever, ever, no matter what part of your life, start your sentence with and, but, or. That always goes in the middle. Okay, complete sentences. Watch your commas, watch your subjects and predicates, watch your end punctuation, watch your capital letters. Okay, you have until 1:30, which is now a little over 17 minutes to answer number 1, 2, and 3 on page 17. Those of you at school, when you are finished, leave everything where it is, get out a book.